This is the BreadWinner Podcast, hosted by entrepreneur, influencer, and sales wolf, Tyler Harris, bringing you the insights from the most successful forward-thinking entrepreneurs and influencers, so that you can rise to the top and make more dough.
Now, let's get into the show.
All right, what's up, everybody? This is the BreadWinner Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Harris, and we are live in the streets of Miami right now. It's crazy. It's madness going on. I got to move this mic while this train goes by. Oh, my God. What is happening right now? I got to lower these levels. All right. So we are in the streets of Brickell out at Pilo's Tacos. Just got out of Agent 2021. And an incredible event with Gary Vaynerchuk today. And we've got a bunch of incredible people that have joined us afterwards, after the event. We hosted a little meetup here. One of those is sitting right across from me. We're going to ask him a couple questions and get a little interview in. So I hope you guys enjoy this. We've got Sina Azari. He was one of the speakers, was on the panel at Agent 2021 today with Mr. Gary Vaynerchuk himself. Did an incredible job on that. He owned the panel, to be quite honest with you. He owned it. But getting to know him a little bit while we're here in Miami, and super impressed by what he's doing and the fact that he's not afraid to tell people, like, this isn't easy. Like, it's all hard work. And that's really, like, that's the secret. Like, there is no secret. Just, like, work hard and be willing to do what others aren't so that you can have what others won't. And that's it. So I'm excited to have him on here real quick. And we're going to let him give an intro, who you are, where you're from, what you do, favorite color. Just kidding. But, yeah, tell everybody who you are.
What's up, man? First of all, thank you for the compliments, Tyler. Again, this is Sina Azari. You guys can find me out there on Instagram under CEO Accredited. That's CEO Accredited. Hopefully you guys can spell that. But I've been in the business for about 15 years. I'm pretty excited to be out here at Agent 2021. And before we kick this off, I got to give you a lot of credit, man. You are definitely a hustler. Talk about no excuses mindset, bro. This guy backs up what he says, living and breathing the business. Just firing me up to see the setup he's got, and he's rolling with a serious squad. This guy doesn't play games, man. So I'm not only excited and honored to be here, but thank you for the recognition, accolades, man.
So tell everybody a little bit about what you do in California.
So we're based down in Orange County. I'm the Vice President of Present Financial Partners. We are a insurance and real estate and investment firm. We got a couple offices. We're a startup, a year and 6 months in the business, but just having a really good time growing. We got an office out in San Diego, city of Carlsbad, as well as a new scratch office in San Francisco. But we're in the financial services business, man. Same grind as you, and we love what we do.
So I know on the panel today you talked about hard work. And at the end of the day, it's just the hustle that goes into ultimately succeeding. What were some of those moments, like early on, like when it sucked, like when it wasn't easy, like when it was a struggle, but you had that long-term vision of where you were headed, and so you were willing to put that crazy work in each day? Like, talk a little bit about that, like the early days. Like, what did that look like for you?
You know, the early days is really what's made my days today. And I'll tell you, it wasn't easy. And I'm a big believer that if you don't break down, you can't break through. So, you know, starting off in the business, I was 23 years old, fresh out of college. I had 3 jobs, broke, struggling. And we know the financial service business is fully commissioned for those that definitely want to really build themselves in it. But it was tough. You know, I was 3 months living on my friend's couch because I was too embarrassed to tell my mom at the time that I had moved out the house, that I wasn't making enough money. So the first 3 months was a grind. I was working at the gym, folding towels just to get a free membership. I was working at Red Robin, serving food. Props to Red Robin and the unlimited fries they got out there. And the third job I had was I was doing some side accounting work for a freight forwarding company. So the struggle is real for me, man. But I always believe hustle through the struggle, and it proved true.
There's nothing I like to hear more than that kind of story. Like, so my favorite quote in the world is, every successful person has a painful story. And I just like added on to the end of it, will your painful story have a successful ending? And I think one thing I'd like to talk about real quick, and I think you'll be a good one to answer it. So we were just talking a second ago before we recorded the last podcast about how there's kind of this trend going on. And a lot of that, you know, with Lewis Howes' new book, The Mask of Masculinity, and this whole trend of vulnerability kind of like becoming okay to talk about, like the struggles. In my opinion, vulnerability is the ultimate form of strength. As a leader, building an organization, especially building an organization of salespeople, which is basically just controlling ego after ego after ego. How have you been able to lead by being vulnerable with your team?
I believe in servant leadership. You got to put your team in front of you. That's what's important. So many people lead from the front, and I think it's important to lead from the front when it's time to. But there are some that also can lead from the middle and the back. And I'm a big believer to be I guess you can consider me a working leader, or some would say everything that I ask my team to do, I've done myself, and I'm willing to go out there and still show them how to do it if I need to. But thank God we got a really tight team that's been able to hold the rope. We believe in holding the rope. And, that's what it is. You got to serve your people first. And as long as you're grateful, you remain humble, you let your team know that it's all about them, because it is. Without my team, I wouldn't be where I'm at, and that's a fact. They say you want to go fast, you go alone. You want to go far, you go with a team. And I'm a big believer in that, and we're just getting warmed up.
That's incredible, and that's kind of where I thought you were going to go with that. And so one thing that I'll give you props for is that, like, you've built a team, and fulfillment, which is ultimately what we really want, is to be able to do what you were born to do and surround yourself and have that infrastructure be people that you actually genuinely enjoy being around. And what I've seen instantly on your social media is that, like, whether it's with your podcast or just around the office, it generally seems like you actually like these guys, like you actually enjoy being around them. So talk a little bit about that, like how friendship and business, like everyone says don't mix it, but in my opinion, like, you have to mix it, because if you're going to go far, you have to be locked tight, like arms locked. And like, so one thing with us, we talk about loyalty. It's one of our big values. But a lot of people, when they talk about loyalty, they talk about being loyal to another person, and they demand loyalty from an employee or from a friend or from a spouse. But we say that, like, we don't want anyone to be loyal to us. We have a set mission, vision, and values, and if you're loyal to those mission, vision, and values, and I'm loyal to those mission, vision, and values, then we are in parallel, and then thus we're loyal to one another. Now, when things change and you no longer are loyal to those same vision and values, like, we are no longer loyal to one another. And we said that to our team. Joseph said that to our team forever, like over and over and over, just beat it into us. And then finally, as relationships started building, we realized that, like, that's true on the front end, but after years of living that way and being loyal to the same mission, vision, and values, you then become trusting to one another, and then you become loyal to one another as people. And so, like, I'm loyal to Joseph now, but it's because we were loyal to the same mission, vision, and values for 3 years together, and now you can trust me, you know what I mean? So talk a little bit about that, like mixing friendship and the business relationship, and how a lot of people say they don't do it, but, like, you guys are obviously doing that and doing it very well.
Well, I'll tell you, first of all, you spoke about loyalty, man. I want to give a lot of props to your boy TJ, man. This is one loyal fella, bro. He is not only holding it down behind the camera, but he just literally, for those of you guys that didn't see it, grabbed another camera, and he's just doing double duty. So you can't earn this, man. And shout out to TJ's mom, man. God bless her. But I love the fire where you guys are coming from. And going back to your question, I'm a big believer that loyalty is earned. Loyalty is earned, and you got to put your hand out there before you ask for a hand. I've been fortunate to been introduced to the right people. You mentioned about friends and doing business, and I think it's difficult to do business through friends, but it's great to earn friendship through business. Amen. And fortunately for our team, those that I consider really like my family, we've been fortunate to have built this relationship through business first, and then have created this great bond that it's no longer about the money, it's no longer about the business, it's about having each other's back.
That was way better than I said it, actually, because that makes so much more sense. So I love that. Last question, and let me think of it real quick. So last question: one day your great grandkids are talking about Granddaddy Azari, great Granddaddy Azari. So great Granddaddy Azari, he's long gone, but the great grandkids are here. What are, like, 3 adjectives you want them to describe you?
Oh man, I can't give you 3 adjectives, bro. But so you threw me off. But I do want to tell you that I believe, our purpose here is hopefully to leave people off better who have met us than never met us at all. it's all about legacy to me. Money, I learned that money is printed. Money's just paper and it's printed every single day. But the relationships, the bond that you leave behind, the legacy is what lives forever. And great grandkids, man. I have no idea, but I definitely know one of the adjectives would be optimistic, selfless, and happy. I mean, I guess.
I thought you were going to say good looking, but
Hey,
that works.
Humble, bro. Let's throw humble in there.
Yeah. All right, so good deal. So, man, I appreciate you being on here. I appreciate the value that you brought to that panel, because I'm not going to lie, like you owned it big time. Like it was like an anchor there. I was like, there was like this anchor of like realness that I was like, yes. Like that one time, do you hear me clapping? I was like, yes. Like freaking finally somebody said it.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that tremendously and appreciate the relationship we're building, and it's awesome, man. Can't wait to come out of California and hang out with you guys. So with that, guys, that's Sina Azari. That is the end of the podcast.
Good looking out, fellas.
Thank you for listening to the BreadWinner Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and leave a rating on iTunes. For a chance to be on the show, send a screenshot of your iTunes rating to @TylerHarris page on Instagram, where he'll pick one person every single week. See you next time on the BreadWinner Podcast.